We inhabit a world defined by the constant, exhausting effort of repair. Global supply chains, aging power grids, and intricate financial networks are visibly straining under the weight of their own complexity. Maintaining these systems requires a frantic, invisible scrabble. We live in the temporary gaps between the last failure and the next one, hoping the seams hold just long enough to feel like we are still in control. But the physics of complex systems points toward a different reality. Entropy dictates that a single node's collapse can trigger a cascading failure across the entire network. Intervention can delay the break, but it cannot prevent the eventual math of decay. If the failure is a matter of when rather than if, then the rational response isn't to work harder at patching the holes. It's to ask what happens when the patch finally gives way. While most focus on the repair, a different behavioral shift is occurring among those who recognize the cycle. They aren't waiting for a rescue. They are moving toward a different operating logic entirely. This is a recalibration of resilience, a way of living that prioritizes personal stability over systemic reliance. It is the practice of the great opt-out. This transition replaces the anxiety of maintenance with the logic of independence. It starts by looking at where our basic needs are anchored. Most of us live in a state of dependence, tied to central hubs we don't control. If the hub falters, your access to power, information, or food falters with it, leaving you exposed to vulnerabilities you didn't even know existed. Design offers a way out. Instead of a single line of credit to a massive hub, individuals engineer their own closed loops, private systems for things they cannot live without. When the central system shatters, it creates a massive distraction for everyone tethered to it. But for the designed loop, the event is just a data point. Life continues because the baseline was never dependent on that external connection. This design breaks the cycle of reaction. Most people spend their lives in a defensive crouch, scrambling to adjust after a market crashes or a shortage begins. Anticipation is the quieter alternative. It means building buffers and redundancies long before they are necessary, so you aren't forced to outsource your stability to emergency alerts or repairmen who may never arrive. When you stop waiting for the system to fail before you act, you stop losing your days to its crises. You reclaim your focus because you no longer have to monitor a world that you've already accounted for. We often mistake our effort for influence. We burn energy trying to stabilize massive, unpredictable external forces that we cannot possibly touch. Flow sovereignty is the decision to stop fighting the storm. It is an acceptance that you cannot fix the tide, but you can master how you move through it. This sovereignty comes from owning your movement and your resources. It's the capacity to pivot the moment an environment becomes untenable, without being held back by the weight of the broader collapse. Rigid structures break because they attempt to hold their ground against a force they can't match. Fluidity survives because it warps and redirects the force of the impact. This fluidity allows you to navigate chaos while your forward momentum remains uninterrupted. You aren't trying to save the maze. You're simply the only thing moving through it with purpose. Stability isn't found in a world that refuses to change. It's found in the personal capacity to adapt as quickly as the world does. Opting out isn't an escape to the wilderness or a rejection of modernity. It's a way of living within the world while remaining strategically insulated from its faults. You can still participate in the culture and the economy, but you do so on your own terms. You are no longer tethered to the city's weakest infrastructural points. There is a deep psychological shift that occurs when you know you can thrive regardless of the grid. The background noise of societal anxiety simply goes silent. Wealth used to be measured by the accumulation of assets within the system, but in a volatile era, an asset is only as valuable as the infrastructure that allows you to use it. True security is the quiet confidence that your life continues uninterrupted, even if the world around you suddenly stops working. The great opt-out is a quiet realignment. It is the decision to build your own foundation, ensuring that when the system fails, you're already moving.